Today on Bully Talk with Zeb Pits, we got Christopher Hodge of Rembull. How you doing today, sir?
Doing good, all is well.
All right, man. This is the night before Nationals, man. How you like it so far?
Loving it, man. Loving it, man. Having a great time, bruh. People coming out, man. The dogs are here. The people are here. Old faces, new faces, you know. It's just been an exciting time, man. And this is just being here at the hotel. You know what I mean? So definitely looking forward to tomorrow. Definitely looking forward to tomorrow.
Man, I say, man, I really enjoyed myself so far, man. Just really seeing people talk dogs, and man, shit, I don't know do you know what time it is now? Probably like 1 in the morning. People still out. Hey, man, but I appreciate your time, man.
No doubt.
Man, how long have you been dealing with the bully breed?
I've been dealing with bullies for about, I want to say 8 years now. I've been dealing with the bullies. I've been actually breeding pit bulls since '91. You know, been into the breed itself since 1986. I've had my feet in it a while.
Well, what made you get into the bullies?
Well, I got into the bullies when I first, cause like anybody else, I was a pit bull lover. You know, and so with the pit bulls, it came back from a time when I was homeless, you know, and living with the pit bulls, you know, and they providing for me at a time. That's how I ended up getting into the pit bulls. And then I started seeing this new look, you know, and the dogs were much bigger head, more bone, you know, more substance, shorter, and I liked it, you know what I mean, but I just didn't know what it was called. A lot of us thought it was just, you know, bull mastiffs mixed with pit bulls, but then came to find out that it was actually something called the American Bully, and hooked up with a dog, got comfortable with a dog named Ali, and that Ali led me to where I found Remy, and when I found Remy, that was it. Remy, one dog, one line. Remy, that did it for me. The ultimate American bully to me.
What were you looking for when you got your first bully?
Really, what I was looking for a dog that could give me all that size, substance, but to bring the temperament scale down. And that's what I saw the American Bully was able to bring away from the original pit bull. Was I was able to get a more docile, you know, dog where it's not all erratic, you know, too excited, couldn't be around other dogs, and it helped to do away with the fear factor that other people were getting from the breed. And so when I went for my American Bully, I wanted to have that, but I also still wanted the drive, and that's why I chose Remy.
Tell me about Ali.
Okay.
Well, yeah, what was so special about him to you?
Well, Ali was the first real American Bully, I guess I can say, that I saw that I liked, and that was actually off of Bugsy, and Bugsy was a short-shot and diamond, original short-shot and diamond son. So Ali was a short-shot and diamond grandson, and his head was just massive, 25-inch head, you know what I'm saying? He was about 18 inches tall, you know, blue, you know what I mean? So it's just my first time ever seeing anything like that. So that captivated me, and I watched him grow up from a puppy all the way up because my ex-kennel partner had him, Anthony Pitt, and we just rolled that boy.
Now tell the people about the challenge that Fade made.
Oh, man, you gonna do that? You gonna do that? Okay.
The story of the infamous stack off.
Okay. So you gonna blow my card like that? Okay. All right. Well, the legend goes that one day we was on the boards and people was talking about Remy line and how whether it was a line and this and that, and you know Remy was the high dog in demand at that time. We talking about around 2006, 2005, 2006. And so Fade issued a challenge on the e-board, said, I'm going to bring Remy and 2 of Remy's kids to the East Coast. And any dog that feel like they can stand against them, be there. And it was a showdown. He said, and I will give that individual $1,000 if they beat Remy. Looks-wise and everything. Well, I'm like, Ali, 25-inch head, 18 inches tall. Let's go get this free money down here in Florida, you know? So we went down there, man, and I'm glad that I didn't have to get no money. You know, we got down there, and it wasn't so much that Remy was bigger than Ali or had a bigger head, but he was so much dog in this package, and he had this attitude about himself. And I'll never forget, we was getting the picture of them next to it, because that's how you stacked up back in the day. It wasn't a ring. You stacked 2 dogs up, and the crowd determines which one was better. Well, when we did that, Remy didn't know he had this attitude. He barked. And when he barked, Ali kind of whimpered down. And it was a wrap from then on out. Because I ain't no punk, so that right there showed me everything. And that made me go with Remy.
That was the start of you getting into Remy?
That was the start of me getting into Remy. And that was actually in 2006, March of 2006. And been there ever since.
Now, once you got into the Remy line, you began to mold your own style
Yes.
within the line.
Yes.
And you came up with Rimbrand.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that whole process.
Okay, well, the one thing that I saw that Remy line dogs were lacking was more of the chest, much wider chest, more bullier frame, which you could easily see that the breed was beginning now to start really morphing into, away from the traditional look of Remy and Remy line dogs and raised edge dogs for that matter. The dogs begin to get more bully, more shoulder, shorter back, more substance. And so when Rembrandt's father came out here for me to promote him, I did a breeding with Pit Stop Kennels and to his female swank, and it produced Rimbrand. And Rimbrand was a true bully Remy line dog. He was nothing like the traditional Remy line dog. So with that, I was able to take him and I harnessed what he brought to the table. Most Remy line dogs, everybody know, you go to Remy for a head. No one ever went to Remy for a body. And that's what Rimbrand was able to do. Rimbrand was actually able to bring forth the body, a new trait to the blood. And from there it just sparked, and from there I decided, when he passed away, I wanted to do something to honor him. When Rimbrand passed in April, I got redemption, and that was my sign to go ahead and now start my own line, and that's the Rimble bloodline.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you said that because I was actually getting into that next. With Rimbrand being the foundation for the firm.
Right.
You now have your own line, which is the Rimble line.
Yes.
Tell me about the line now, and what are the characteristics of a Rimble dog?
Okay. Well, most Rimble dogs, the standard style Rimble dog, is the quintessential is going to be redemption. You're looking at a dog that's about 17 inches tall. The dog will be about 17 inches tall. It will have the same shoulders and chest spread, short back. And the temperament will still be the same as I spoke earlier about, but much more bully, more girth, a lot of bone, but correct fronts, with the fronts being correct and no turning in the feet, you see what I'm saying? And that's basically what a Rimble is, also going back to the traditional Remy brickhead, which you'll see in the dogs too. So you'll still see Remy inside of the Rimble. So even though it's a new line, you still see where it originated from.
So is it more like on the extreme Remy side, you would say?
If you was in the Remy line, I would say if you was in the Remy line mindset, it would be what you would call extreme, Remy line extreme. But in the bully world, it is the American bully. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the best way to break it down. And then naturally we was able to make a pocket size. We made the standard size, and we also have an XL size. But that's how the Rimble line came into existence.
Tell me about your relationship with Fabian and the whole Remy line family, because it's like a family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yes, it is. I came into Fabe's life, like I said, in 2005 was when I first met Fabian in Texas at a Texas dog show. And like I said, me and him just kind of clicked, but we didn't really get tight until around 2006, like I said, after the Ali situation. I just told him right after that moment, I said, bro, I want to support what you have. And at that time, Fabe was going through a lot of things with the bully world, with the rejection and different things like that. So he pretty much was done with it. He wasn't going to do anything. And pretty much, God touched my heart. I can't even take no credit for it. God touched my heart, and told me to get behind and push this dog. And that's what I began to do with Remy. I began to push Remy hard. And it drew me and Fabe close because it helped pull him out of something. When a person is wounded, you'll always develop that bond when you're there to help make help bring healing to them. You know what I mean? Anyone can come together and be fam and call themselves fam when everything is going good. But it's when you truly can come to an individual and help bring healing to them, you know, where they've been wounded, that's what makes bonds. And that's how him and I got. And he began to see in me what many felt was not in me. He was able to help utilize the fact that I do have a big mouth. You know what I mean? My courage to step out. And when I believe something or I stand on something, I'm not afraid to talk about it. I'm not afraid to stand out front and bring it out. So the two worlds just made sense. You know, you had an individual that knew how to market, you know, and had the product, and then you had the other individual that didn't have a problem with making sure the advertisement got done. So when you take those two elements together, I mean, we brewed such a beautiful relationship, and then as time went on, you know, naturally we gained closer as friends. You know what I mean? So that's my brother. You know, despite even though I have my own line and everything, he still supports me, and that's my brother. I mean, who better to support me than the one that got me started?
The RKC movement is pretty big in North Carolina, you would say.
Yes.
So
RKC is really big.
Yeah. Why do you think it's so big in that area?
Well, because you have a lot. When Remy Line got started, you know, I bought it out here versus growing it out west. We grew it out here, and I spread what everybody used to call the Remy Line gospel up and down the East Coast, all through North Carolina. And North Carolina was the first place that we ever did what was known before was RKC, the RLC show. I mean, we had them all come out. Remy came out here. This was Remy's first time ever coming to North Carolina. You know what I mean? So the grounds of RKC began. So you're always going to have a greater following where you began versus where you might continue on to go. You know what I mean? So you would have to say like North Carolina is the roots of RKC, even though it was something that was started by a man that lives in California.
You know. Today we're here at Nationals, close to your hometown.
Yeah.
You're originally from New York, correct?
Yes.
And you were talking about the toughest time where you were homeless at one point.
Yeah.
How was that experience dealing with that, knowing where you are today? How did that help you grow as a person?
I would have to say that it's proof that what you go through doesn't dictate who you are, but it does help to shape what you can become. You know what I mean? So that's what I would say. It was my time being homeless and the dogs taking care of me that it gave me a love and a respect for a breed that now I wanted to do something for it. See what I'm saying? And I saw that the dogs, they got such a bad rap, and it's the same thing that happened to me. Many people misjudged me because of who I was or because, I didn't have certain things in my life. I was judged a certain way for lack of understanding, and I think that's the same thing that happened with the dogs. So to a degree, in the process of me helping the dogs, I would have to say, not being selfish, me helping to change the opinion and the viewpoint of the dogs is also my way of slowly helping people see the new difference in me.
Oh, that's a good point. I never thought of it that way.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Speaking on images, because I talked to a couple of people about it. What was your thoughts on that whole Michael Vick's situation with the dog fight?
My thing was this. It was a terrible thing. It was truly a terrible thing to do. But my thing is, it's easy to judge a man who got caught versus the man who did it and didn't get caught. Because though what he did was wrong, he wasn't the only one that was doing it. Yeah. You understand? So to point the finger and say that he shouldn't not have dogs and he's this and he's this, people can't change. So if you want that same acceptance for your change, I think we should give that man that same change.
Nobody's perfect.
Because no one is perfect. And don't excuse what you got away with versus what another individual. Because just because you didn't get caught don't mean you didn't do it. You understand what I'm saying? So, as far as Michael Vick is concerned, I would have to say, I hate what he did, but I love what he's trying to do now.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because now he's an advocate for the breed. If they let him get around it, let them touch it. You know what I mean? Because you got to have some sense of something, because you don't have that many dogs just because you want to make money by fighting dogs. You still got to feed them. You still got to take care of them. So there is a level, I think, that we're not seeing behind the scenes that never get talked about with him. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not an advocate of what he did. I'm not an advocate of fighting dogs by no means. But I am an advocate of second chances.
Exactly. I agree with that. Well, what's the baddest dog you ever seen?
Baddest dog I ever seen was Rimble.
Rimble.
Because that's my all-time favorite. But I'm going to be a little selfish here. Baddest dog I ever seen is Redemption. Because Redemption, even though Rimbrand was who was my inspiration for the Rimble, it was Redemption that solidified me to let me know that he was the catalyst to do it. Because there's nothing on that dog. Every dog I've ever seen, even including Remy, I've always seen what I wanted to fix on him. Redemption's the only dog I've ever had or ever saw where there was absolutely nothing I would change about him. Nothing. And even the qualities that he did get was a bonus that I didn't expect to get. So I would have to say Redemption. Redemption is the best dog I ever laid my eyes on.
Now with the Rimble line, where would you like to see it go in the next 5 years?
In the next five years, I would like to see Rimble's become a major participant. I don't want to see it take over the world. It doesn't have to take over the bully world, because no line is going to take over the bully world, because there's always someone else creating. But I would like it to play an essential part in the development for the betterment of the American bully. So in the next 5 years, if I can look in the pedigree, and the same way I see Razor's Edge in there, the same way I see Remy line in there, the same way I see Gray line and Gotti line in there, I can see Rimble in that pedigree. That would make my day. That would be it right there. Not to dominate, just to participate.
Do you plan on adding exotics to your program? What's your thoughts on exotics, by the way?
Well, my thoughts on exotics, I've seen two sides of exotics. I've seen the trash, and I've seen the good dogs. Okay, I think there are some good ones, and there are some ones that I would breed to. You know what I mean? Truthfully, but I do believe there are some that are wrong. You know, dogs are not functional. You know, there are some dogs that need work. You know what I mean? So I would say that I would use them, but I would use the right one, and I would go to the people. I would suggest you always go to the source. So I would go to the people that actually began it. Juan and June of Garden State Bullies began a great movement with the exotic bully. It is a different look. You know, whether it's been mixed, I don't know. I wasn't there. I can't say it was. I can't say it wasn't. But all I can do is go by what the pets say. And by going with the pets say, they helped to institute a whole new movement, which now gave room for a whole new market. You have now Miyagi, you have certain dogs that at one time might not have had a market, have a market now. So the exotic movement to me is cool as long as they continue to maintain restraint and keeping the dogs healthy and clean. That's what I would like to see. That's my thoughts on it.
You've been around the dog world for a minute. Mm-hmm. This is not really a new thing, is it? Because we were talking earlier. You shared the light to me about that. That's not really a new thing.
No, it's not. No, it's not. To be honest with you, I can name you a couple of dogs that would have been considered exotic, but that name just wasn't around. Corrupt, one of them. Poison Ivy, which was a Remy daughter. Remedy, which was a Remy daughter. Bismarcky. There's quite a few at that time that you would have almost wanted to call exotic because it was so different, but that name wasn't there. Just like there, you have the American bully of today. Do the American bullies we see today look like the first American bullies, Cairo, short shadow? They don't look exactly like that anymore because things evolve. You know what I mean? So yeah, but it's really been around longer than people admit it has. It's just that it has a new name, and so that's how I would have to do that.
What's the biggest show you've been to or been a part of?
Biggest show I've ever been a part of would be the Shrine Theater. Tom and Dog magazine release show. at the Shrine Theater in LA, because that was actually me going to a show as Rimbrand the Firm. So I was actually there, and I was not there now as the fan, as the spectator. I was actually a part of the movement. So that had to be my greatest show. I mean, we had them all out there.
Y'all was dressed.
We had on our dress shirts and ties and khakis, holding these man beasts between our legs.
And the people don't know, these Ribby dogs got attitudes, so
Yes,
you got
they
a
do.
whole bunch of dog attitudes lined up.
I mean, you got all this testosterone going on, but it was such a good positive vibe there. You know, the lines was wrapped around the corner, so for me to be able to walk in and I didn't have to wait in line, you know, I mean, I gotta put that out there. But yeah, that was my first biggest show that I'm actually part of the headliner.
How did you make your way down to the Carolinas?
Well, my mother's actually from there.
Okay.
You know, so I had some issues in New York, you know what I mean, and I needed a new change of scenery, so I ended up down there in North Carolina.
How's the bully movement perceived in North Carolina right now?
Huge.
Yes,
Huge. But I think honestly that people don't really realize what the Carolinas have. The Carolinas have a mighty movement of American bullies.
yeah.
And I believe that if the Carolinas will stop being so centralized in one area and begin to really start going out, going to these other shows in other states, get from around the local surrounding, the world will be surprised at what's going on right there in little North Carolina.
Right now, what's the thing you like most about the bully world, and what's the thing you like least about it? What you hate about the bully world right now?
The thing I like about the bully world is the unity that comes when everyone gets together. The thing that I don't like about it is the inconsistency, and there's no real stability because it's still growing. You know, it's still getting mastered, so it still has a lot more to. But I think it just needs some huge stability, so that way it just can carry a certain integrity about itself. You see what I'm saying? Let us not forget that these dogs, we have a responsibility and accountability to them, you know what I mean, to do and make sure that they're perceived and they're seen in a better light than I think sometimes we do. And that's not to put a restraint on nobody, to tell you how to dress or to tell you but I think that if you don't have stability in nothing, you know, the Bible says it plain, a house not built on a solid foundation will fall when the strong wind comes. So if it doesn't start getting some true stability, I don't care if it has been here 10 years, 20 years or whatever. At a while, if the right wind comes along, it'll fall. So I'd like to see more stability, more consistency within it.
Would you say you're more of a spiritual person or a religious person?
Oh, spiritual, 100%. Don't believe in religion. I believe in relationship. God didn't ask nobody to be in religion. He asked everyone to have a relationship with him.
I guess the reason for that question, a lot. I don't know if. Well, I guess people on Facebook would know. You do a lot of do daily quotes every day. What's the inspiration behind that?
My struggle. If what I've been through in my life can help save a soul, which is another reason I got into the dogs, because it was another avenue in which to be able to minister God, to show that, you know, to show the religious people that if you don't get involved in the world, how you gonna save it? So I've always said, God, send me wherever you need me. So it's like if being in the bully world and being saved and showing that you can be saved and be in this world that looks and is perceived as thugs and stuff like that, and it's not, that if I'm here, you can be here. And that means that, and it also shows the bully world that God ain't too far that he can't reach you. He'll come the way you are. You see what I'm saying? So no, I'm not religious, though, to answer your question. I hate religion. And that's a whole nother story. But I do believe in relationship with my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And that's all I want to teach others. Matter of fact, it's funny you said that. Just yesterday, an individual that's a fellow dog breeder, I spoke with yesterday. He called me, and when it was all said and done, he ended up giving his life to the Lord.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? See, God will reach a sinner. Spell dog backward. What is spell?
God.
All right. So he's always
Man, that's man. What's your favorite? What's one of your favorite daily quotes that you can think of, or do you have one?
Actually, all of them are great. But if I had to sum it all up, my greatest quote, it would be the one that my pastor gave me years ago that has stuck with me for the past 15 years. Change the way you think, change the way you live.
That's a good point.
You know, because everything comes from the way we think about things.
At this point in your life, do you feel you following the path God set for you?
Yes, because we have to understand that, and I won't, without getting too deep into it.
Yeah.
The Lord told the prophet Ezekiel to wear the same clothes for 2 weeks and not bathe, to prove a point of how he viewed Israel was treating him and how they were behaving. He told him to eat feces, you know. Now that looks strange, don't it? Don't look like the path of God, do it. Don't sound too much like the path of God. Okay, well, you had Solomon who slept with how many wives? How many concubines? Don't sound like the path of God, do it. You had David who killed numerous people. Don't sound like the path of God, do it. But each and every one of those are mighty men of God and are written in the Hall of Faith. So, if anyone looks at this and says, this can't be the path of God, they must not know God. I can't say that they're truly in a relationship with God. Because everybody knows that God always used the underdog and always put himself in the lowest low so that way he can bring us up to the highest height.
When it's all said and done, what would you like for people to say about you in the bully community? Like when they mention your name, what would you like for it to be said?
That's a good one. But I would have to say that this man made God reachable. That's what I would like to remember. That this man came in and he made God accessible. He made it where we can actually touch God. That's what I'd like to remember that.
With the follow up with the quotes that you were talking, have anybody ever reached out and say I really
all the time.
All the time.
All the time. Matter of fact, they say I got a little church going on because I have. It has truly escalated here lately to. I think I have like 45 followers that just tune in to get the daily quotes. I would say 15 out of 20 dog breeders end up needing some type of spiritual advice. So God is saving souls. God's healing. God's bringing deliverance, and He's doing it through these dogs. So I guess it's a win-win all the way around.
Are you close with the congregation?
Huh?
The congregation.
Yes, Irvin and I
yes.
are really good friends. Yes, Irvin, the congregation and I are really good friends. Really good friends. Yes.
Man, I really appreciate your time today, man. Just share the light, for people to know you, to get to really hear your story, hear your struggle, that you can make it through anything. I just really appreciate your time today, and good luck with Nationals tomorrow, man. Have fun, man. I really appreciate it.
Man. We definitely gonna go in there and try to do what we do. Y'all just remember that Rimble Nation. Stand up. Trust your program, not the fad.
All right, thank you, man.
All right.